Hey guys, Sloppy Joe here. Welcome back to the channel. So I have a new acquisition. I just wanted to do a quick out of the box. I just picked it up, so I just wanted to show it off to you guys. This isn't it. This is, of course, a Baikal Russian commercial Makarov. Now, these were made in the 90s as a commercially sold Makarov into the U.S. And by commercial, meaning that they were made in the same factory that the real military Makarovs were made in. The only difference really being that they had to put on an adjustable sight, which you can see here. They had to put that on because then it would be classified as a sporting or a commercial pistol versus a military pistol. And that was just for importation reasons into the US. Now, this isn't what I want to show you guys. You've seen this pistol before. A little bit. I haven't really gone into too much with Makarovs. I'm kind of delving more into that, and you'll understand why in a video that I'm working on right now. So this is just your standard 8-shot capacity military version of the Makarov. Now again, this is commercial, but the only difference being is the back sight is an adjustable sight versus a fixed sight. Other than that, they're identical. So this is just the standard deal. Standard magazine, single stack, blowback operated design, very simple, very rugged, very reliable. There's a reason why these were used from the late 40s all the way up into the late 80s or early 90s, I believe. And in some cases, it's still being used today by some police and military. So this is not what I want to show you guys. What I want to show you guys is actually underneath this box. So if I slide that one out of the way, this is what I want to show you guys. Now what this is again, it's a Baikal Russian Makarov 9x18, but this is the high capacity version. This is the model that you could either get in 10 or 12 round configuration, depending on importation, if you were lucky enough to get 12 round magazines. This, I'll open this up, and as you can see, it is essentially the same pistol. So if I put these side by side, they are identical in width, length, height, all that. The only difference being is the bottoms of the pistol, where they have basically just widened the frame where the magazine goes in, making it able to accept a double stack magazine. So it's essentially the same exact pistol. It's still a model IJ7018. The only difference being it's designated AH, and that being the high capacity designation. Still made in Russia, still made in the same factory. All operates exactly the same. Still a blowback pistol design, 9x18 Makarov ammo. This came with two 10-round magazines. Now, I understand you can do some modifying to make them accept the extra two, but I'll do some digging into that because these magazines, from what I understand and what I've looked into, are extremely hard to find. These are actually aftermarket magazines. I believe these are Pro Mags. The original magazines that would have come with it, they are extremely hard to find. They're in the $100 a piece range. The Pro Mags, when they were being made, were in that $18 to $20 range, and now you can't find them. So I'm going to do a little dig and see what I can't come up with. But anyway, so it's basically same operation as a regular Makarov. The only difference being that the magwell and the frame, the bottom of the frame, has been widened to accept the bigger double stack magazine. But other than that, everything operates exactly the same. So the trigger feels exactly like the trigger on this one in double action and in single action. Operation is exactly the same. Takedown is exactly the same. If you want to see that real quick, if you're new to Makarovs, so the takedown is just very simple. You just pull that back pull the slide back, lift and off. And that's it. I mean, this is essentially the same gun as your single stack traditional Makarov, just in a double stack configuration, able to accept high capacity magazines. which is very cool. If you're a big fan of CZ82s, they are kind of the go-to if you want high capacity 9x18 Makarov pistols. Those are getting a little bit harder to find, and they're climbing in price. Now, these are also very, very rare, very hard to find. I only see these come up for sale maybe once a year. And even then, people are asking a lot of money for them. I've dug around on Gunbroker, things like that, looked at past auctions where people were asking $500. I doubt they got $500 for these. They probably got closer to $300 or $350. I paid, what did I pay for this? Excluding the ammo that the guy threw in that I bought, I basically paid, I think I'd say about $290. He threw in a bunch of 9x18 Makarov ammo that I didn't really need, but he was getting out of 9x18, so he said, hey, look, you know, you get some ammo, I'll throw it in for cheap, whatever. So for about $300, I picked this up. A little bit more than I'd like to have spent, but it's probably in line with what these are going for if you can find them. So I'm going to be doing a full pistol review on this, shooting it, talking about it, as well as probably how it fares against a regular Makarov, which is what I'll say again. It is almost identical in every way. The way the double action, single action, everything feels exactly the same. You can see just a little bit of take up in the triggers, and then very clean snap there. I mean, everything operates, feels very much the same. The only difference is this grip is just slightly wider to accommodate the larger frame, to accommodate the larger magazine. Other than that, everything feels fine. And actually, this feels a little bit better in the hand, having that little bit of extra width. And the other cool thing they did, you know, it's still, the way it's cut, it can be used ambidextrously, left hand or right hand. The only difference being that on this side, of course, you have your slide release and your safety, which you cannot operate easily at all if you are left-handed. But anyway, so what it came with, which is very cool because a lot of the stuff I think gets lost. So I just wrapped the cleaning rod in this cloth just so it doesn't bang around and scratch up the gun. But it came with all the original import docs from KBI. That's where a lot of these came in from. Came into the country was from KBI. You know, your warnings, your your old warranty cards, your safety cards, you know, all that kind of stuff. These instructions, this little owner's manual. This is actually really the cool thing you want to have, because as you go through it, it has the parts breakdown and all that stuff. But more importantly, what I think is cool is you get in here, and it has all the acceptance and inspection markings from whoever it was that inspected the weapon and the dates. So I know in this instance, the date of manufacture was September of 1994. And you can tell this came from Russia because if I zoom in, if I can get in close there, you can see that. You can see the way the 9s and the 9-4, the way they write. Russians write that way. My wife, who's Ukrainian, she writes numbers in the exact same way. The 9s kind of look like lowercase g's, and it's very distinctive to Russian writing. So you know for sure it came out of Russia. It was inspected, all that cool stuff. So that's just kind of cool to have. So again, this was manufactured in September of '94. Who knows when it was imported, but that's when it was made. So that's it. Look forward to some nice shooting videos with this. I'll do a full review and talk about how it feels and how it fares against a regular single stack Makarov. But other than that, I don't expect it to feel or operate any differently because it's really the same pistol. But anyway, if you have never seen one of these before, you know, they're out there. They're hard to find. Just buyer beware. The magazines are almost impossible to find. So if anybody knows or has a friend or knows a guy or knows a guy that knows a guy that has any magazines for these, whether they be the Pro Mag aftermarket or the original imported magazines that would have come from the factory, which, by the way, instead of having this glossy, the glossy blued shine, they'll be more of a light gray very light gray color. So if anyone knows where any of those are, please feel free to let me know, shoot me a comment. But other than that, this is a new acquisition. I'm excited to have it because I really enjoy 9x18s, and I like finding kind of oddball guns. And this being a double stack Makarov is a little bit oddball, so it's kind of fun to have, a little rare, and just kind of fun that way. So cheap, but still rare, still fun, all that good stuff. So stay tuned for a full shooting and review on this guy, and as well as some other stuff I'm working on. So that's it for now. Thanks for checking in, guys.